After 25 years of silence, my daughter's shocking words at her wedding changed everything forever. The sun blazed in the clear blue sky, casting a golden glow over the quaint Midwestern town, where anticipation crackled in the air. Jake, a 50-year-old mechanic with hands roughened by years of honest labor, stood at the edge of the bustling wedding venue, watching the scene unfold. His heart felt heavy, as he grappled with ghosts of a past that haunted him while everyone else reveled in joy. The smell of fresh flowers mingled with the sweet scent of baked goods from the community kitchen, but all he could think about were the years lost, the silence that stretched between him and his only daughter Lily, the lovely bride cloaked in delicate lace, stood before friends and family, embodying dreams of love and commitment. Laughter erupted among guests as they indulged in celebratory toasts, but each clink of glasses echoed louder in Jake's chest. There was excitement all around, yet within him brewed a storm of sorrow and regret. He had sacrificed so much to provide a better life for her. Wasn't that what fathers were supposed to do? As the ceremony progressed, an unsettling tension simmered beneath the surface. Lily strode to the front during the toast segment, her radiant smile flickering momentarily as she gathered her breath. Jake steeled himself, ready for the syrupy sweetness of wedding toasts that typically flood these gatherings. But instead, her voice broke through the celebratory murmur with raw honesty that sent shivers down his spine. "Growing up without my dad felt like living in shadow," she began, and the crowd quieted. Jake's heart raced. "I often wondered if he loved me as much as he loved the job that took him away." Her confession sliced through the gleeful atmosphere like a knife, igniting whispers among guests. Jake felt each word rip through him like shrapnel. Memories flashed before him. Late nights in the garage, money earned yet love lost. Not enough hugs, too many missed birthdays. Each second stretched as he wiped a tear from his eye, his mind spiraling through the years of miscommunication that turned a once vibrant relationship into a painful chasm. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jake stood frozen, realizing the moment demanded more than silence. Lily's vulnerability had laid bare their scars, the community poised to witness a father's reckoning. Could he articulate the depths of his love, or would this poignant moment slip away like so many others? As the ceremony music swelled, the weight of the moment pressed upon him like a heavy blanket. Showing up now felt both necessary and terrifying. Just as he began to move, Lily's eyes met his, her own swirling with a mix of hope and fragile fear. At that instant the world faded, leaving only their connection a fragile bridge waiting to be mended. Could they find a way back? Or was the door already closing on the love they once shared? Jake took a deep breath, forcing his feet to move. The distance from his spot to the front of the crowd felt insurmountable, like a chasm he had to leap across. But with every step, determination surged through him. No more hiding in shadows of shame and regret. He needed to reach her. The guests watched, surprise flickering in their eyes as the father made his way through the assembled friends and family. Jake caught snippets of nervous whispers, questioning glances, but he brushed them aside. All that mattered was Lily. When he finally stood beside her, time seemingly froze. Their eyes locked, his filled with remorse, hers full of unspoken hope. "Lily," he began, his voice barely above a whisper, filled with all the things he had never said. Words choked in his throat as the enormity of the moment crashed over him. "I understand," she interjected gently, her own voice trembling. "You had to support us. But it hurt. I just wanted to be close to you. I longed for your presence." Tears glistened in her bright eyes, reflecting both sadness and the possibility for healing. Jake's heart ached with her words. He had thought providing for her meant everything: a secure roof over her head, clothes on her back. But what had he really given her? A father who was absent more than present. There was no handbook for fatherhood, no guide on how to balance work and love. He had failed to see that not just gifts but love, time, connection, they were the true foundations of family. The best man, a childhood friend of Lily's, had stepped aside, sensing the intensity enveloping them. The guests leaned in, eager to witness this unexpected exchange. Lily, I was so wrapped up in trying to make things right from a distance that I forgot how to be there for you, Jake finally managed. I'm so sorry. I wish I could give you those years back. His voice broke with the weight of his regret, each word a piece of his heart laid bare. Silence enveloped them now, thick and heavy. At that moment, all that surrounded was the profound ache of honesty, and for the first time it felt lighter. Lily's chin trembled, and in a flash the somberness melted. We can't change the past, Dad. But I want to try, she urged, her voice firm yet fragile, like a sprout breaking through cracked soil. I want my father back in my life, even if we start from here. She extended her hand towards him, a fragile but bold invitation. Jake's heart surged. This was an opportunity to rebuild, an extension of hope wrapped in her offer. He reached out, taking her trembling hand in his, holding it firmly yet gently. I'd like that more than anything. As they stood there, hands joined in front of the crowd, applause began to ripple through the audience. It echoed around them, a wave of support that seemed to dissolve the pain woven into their years of silence. The day was still bright. The sun continued to hang high, bathing them in warmth. It was a moment of connection, and Jake felt tears rolling down his cheeks of sorrow, joy, and renewed hope. Whatever happened next, this was the beginning of mending. But even as he felt this spark, deep down Jake feared the journey ahead. Could he truly change? Would they ever fully heal? A thought rooted in uncertainty gnawed at his heart. As the ceremony resumed, he brushed the thoughts aside. The future was ripe with possibility, but before he could fully embrace it, he wondered, would Lily fully trust him again? Would he have the strength to be the father she truly deserved? Once the applause faded, the soft notes of music returned, wrapping around the gathering like a warm embrace. Jake stood beside Lily, an unfamiliar yet comforting presence. Around them the crowd resumed their chatter, but it was as if a bubble surrounded them, where nothing else mattered. Jake's heart was pounding not from anxiety, but from a sense of hope that had long been buried. I can't believe you're here, Lily whispered, a small smile breaking through her tears. It was a beautiful, fragile smile that made Jake feel lighter. The weight of his past felt a little less heavy in that moment. I mean it this time. I'll be here for you, Lily, he promised, squeezing her hand gently. His voice was steadier now, the hope-forming words that had been trapped for years. I want to be a real father again. She nodded, and her grip tightened on his. It won't be easy. We have a lot to talk about, you know? Years of, well, everything. Jake swallowed hard, the reality setting in. The journey wouldn't be a quick fix. It would be a climb, one that could leave scars. I'm ready. Whatever it takes, he insisted, meeting her gaze with unwavering determination. But just as the moment felt restorative, an unexpected laugh echoed from the crowd, shattering the intimacy they shared. A small child had stumbled into a group of adults, their playful giggles breaking through like sunshine after rain. The child's innocent laughter sent a jolt of nostalgia through Jake, reminding him of the joy he'd missed, while he chased after the wrong markers of success. Look at that, he said softly, nodding toward the child. That's the kind of happiness I want to never miss again. Lily's eyes sparkled. Then let us start now. Let us learn to enjoy the little things together. The words felt like a promise, a bridge for the years ahead. At that moment, a family friend approached them, halting the tender moment. Jake, Lily, you both look so beautiful. Come on, you'll want to make some toasts. We want to hear from you. The friend's excitement was infectious, and the crowd began to shift toward the reception area as they moved together in the sea of guests. A flutter of nerves twisted in Jake's stomach. This gathering was filled with faces, some familiar, many not, and the thought of speaking again brought up echoes of his past failures. But he looked down at Lily, who was smiling brightly, leading him through. Her confidence steadied him. Then a thought struck him. What if, he began tentatively, what if I invited you to create a tradition? Something only we do together? A way to mark off our moments moving forward? Lily's brow furrowed in thought, then she shrugged playfully. Okay, how about a dance at every family event? No matter the occasion? Deal, Jake grinned, feeling a warmth spread through him at the simple idea. He could already imagine the laughter they'd share, the awkward sways of their feet. It was a bold new step, a chance to reshape their memories together. The day unfolded in waves of laughter, tears, and the constant reaffirmation of their bond. Jake barely noticed as time passed, enveloped in a warmth he thought he'd lost forever. Yet, deep down, a nagging worry lingered. What would happen when the guests left, and the echoes of celebration faded? Could their bond withstand the tests ahead? As the evening drew on, and the lights twinkled overhead like stars, Jake's heart swelled. He had taken the step he had been avoiding for so long, but now came the real challenge, facing the reality of becoming the father Lily deserved. With each moment passing, he wondered, could they survive the stillness of everyday life together? What challenges lurked just around the corner, waiting to test their fragile new beginnings? Jake felt a strange mix of excitement and dread as the night deepened. Everywhere he looked, guests laughed and embraced, fueling a warm atmosphere filled with joy. Yet in the back of his mind, shadows of doubt lingered. The easy smiles around him felt at odds with his growing uncertainty about the future. The true test of their reconnection hadn't even begun as they entered the reception area. The tables were adorned with elegant centerpieces, candlelight flickering softly, casting glowing hues on the walls. Jake spotted a few familiar faces, old friends he hadn't seen in ages, family members whose love he had long ignored. He felt a swell of longing to reach out, to rekindle bonds strained by years of silence. But the thought of failing tore at him, making each step heavier. "Ladies and gentlemen," shouted a mic-equipped voice. It was the event coordinator, standing on a small platform, ready to introduce the toasts. "We're honored to have the bride and groom's parents share their journeys with all of us." The mention of parents sent a jolt through Jake. He squeezed Lily's hand, feeling a surge of protective instinct. This was meant to be a celebration, but he felt oddly out of place amid everyone's joyous chatter about love and commitment. "Do you want to go first?" Lily asked. There was a sparkle in her eyes, one that held both encouragement and vulnerability. Jake hesitated. "I'm not sure, maybe you should know," she interrupted softly but firmly. "You've come this far. Share what you're feeling." He looked at her, searching for the right words, the clarity he desperately needed. Her calmness steadied him, and he realized he wanted to show his daughter that he would stand by her through anything, including this moment. As they ascended the small stage, Jake felt each heartbeat echoing in his ears. Standing before the crowd, he focused on Lily. She glowed in her white dress, light spilling around her like a halo. He found his voice. "I'm really grateful to be here," he started, his gaze fixed on her. "Grateful to be part of this day. For so long I wasn't there, and I can't express how deeply that weighs on me." Jake's words came, each one heavier than the last. "I missed a lot of your life, and for that I'm sorry. But I'm here now, and from this moment forward, I want to be present, the father you deserve." The vulnerability hung in the air, every person in the room listening intently. After a pause he added, "I know I can't change the past, but I promise to work on being the dad you need." As he spoke, his throat tightened. He remembered the rehearsed speeches he had written over the years, thoughts unshared because fear won out. This was different. It was real. Lily squeezed his hand, her eyes shimmered with tears, yet in those glistening depths, Jake saw unwavering support. It filled him with strength. "And Lily," he continued, "you're not just my daughter. You're my beacon. I want to create memories with you, every dance, every laugh, every moment we can share." The crowd erupted in applause. It felt surreal, and Jake stepped down from the platform, his heart lightened but still racing with excitement. Amid the cheers of guests and the affectionate glances exchanged between him and Lily, a fear crept back in, lingering like a shadow ready to steal the brightness of the moment. Would he be able to keep the promises he made in front of that audience? As they walked hand in hand away from the stage, laughter and joy swirled around them. But Jake couldn't shake the feeling of uncertainty. What awaited them once the clinking glasses and merry toasts faded into the background? With every laugh soaring above, he couldn't help but wonder. Could he truly rise to meet Lily's expectations and embrace the role he had long abandoned? And just as those questions filled his mind, something incredible caught his attention, a conversation bubbling behind them, igniting the caution he thought he'd cast aside. Jake turned to find a group of guests gathered just a few feet away. Their laughter had transitioned into hushed whispers, the kind that pricked at the edges of his curiosity and worry. He strained to catch snippets of their conversation, the words twisting in the air like tendrils of smoke. And then a name. Can you believe he showed up? One woman said, her voice rising above the others. After all these years, what does he think he is doing? Another replied, scorn lacing her words. Jake's heart sank. He knew they weren't talking about him. They were whispering about someone else. Someone he didn't want to think about tonight. What's wrong? Lily asked, her own excitement dimming as she picked up on his sudden tension. She followed his gaze, but the crowd's murmurs reeled him in closer, pulling him away from the joyful atmosphere he desperately wanted to embrace. It's nothing, he managed to say, forcing a smile that felt more like a grimace. But inside the dread coiled tighter. He hadn't expected anyone from his past to show up, not tonight of all nights. Especially not him. As if summoned by Jake's thoughts, a familiar figure emerged from the sea of faces. Greg, his childhood friend, stood there with an unyielding smile, the kind that seemed practiced more than genuine. He waved at Jake, eyebrows raised in clueless friendliness. The sight twisted Jake's stomach, memories flooding in that he had buried for so long. Are you okay? Lily asked again, her brow furrowed with concern. Yeah, Jake started, though uncertainty danced in his voice. He could feel a storm brewing inside him. Should he confront Greg? Talk it out? Or let the ghosts from the past haunt him quietly from the sidelines? Without a word, Jake stepped away from Lily, his legs moving of their own accord toward Greg. It was a slow motion that felt doused in both dread and determination. A part of him wanted to confront the man who represented many of the regrets he had tried to run from. Hey Jake. Greg's voice boomed, covered by the chatter of the reception. Can't believe you're here. It's been years. Yeah. It really has, Jake replied, forcing the words out. He could hear the words echoing in his mind, replaying the laughter they once shared, the dreams they shared, and the rivalry that ultimately tore them apart. Did you know about tonight? Greg continued, oblivious to Jake's inner turmoil. I was surprised to hear I didn't want to come, Jake interrupted, surprising even himself, not without thinking about the past. That's a long time ago, man. You can't dwell on it, Greg said, a casual grin plastered on his face. What matters is your daughter. This is her day. Jake clenched his jaw, every word sounding like an accusation rather than support. It's not just about her, Greg. You don't get to act like you care about her when you never bothered to reach out to me. The smile faded from Greg's face, replaced by a mixture of surprise and confusion. Let us not do this right now, Jake said, the heat of anger rushing through his veins. He turned and spotted Lily watching from a distance, worry etched across her face. As he walked away, the tension of confrontation draining his energy, he felt a sense of clarity. This wasn't just about him and Greg. It was about the family he was trying to rebuild. Lily met him halfway, concern melting away into relief as he closed the gap. What happened? She whispered. Just had to clear the air, Jake replied, wishing it was that simple. But with Greg's arrival, a shadow had fallen over what should have been a pristine day. Jake realized he wasn't just battling his past but also the uncertainty of how it might disrupt his future. As laughter resumed around them, he looked down at Lily's hopeful face, and his heart sank further. Would this day truly signify a new beginning? Or was it only the calm before a greater storm? Just then, out of the corner of his eye, he caught Greg walking toward them again, determination set in his stride. What did he want now? Jake, can we talk? Jake felt the earth shift beneath his feet, and he knew he was about to face more than just old wounds. Would the confrontation bring clarity or chaos? Jake's heart raced as Greg approached, each step seeming to weigh down the air around them. It wasn't just Greg's presence that unsettled him. It was the tension that crackled like static electricity, wrapping around Jake's chest and squeezing tight. Sure, Jake said, his voice barely above a whisper. Lily's eyes widened, worry turning into a silent plea, but he could see the determination in Greg's expression. It felt as though they were standing on the edge of a precipice. They retreated to a quieter corner of the reception, far enough from the joyous laughter and clinking glasses, yet close enough that Jake could still hear the soft melodies drifting over from the dance floor. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Jake ran a hand through his hair, his mind racing. Should he open up about the hurt, the years of silence, the feelings trapped inside? Look, Jake, I know things are complicated, Greg began, the practiced smile gone, replaced by a hint of sincerity. I didn't come here to stir up old issues. I just wanted to see how you're doing. The sheer audacity of his words made Jake's blood boil. Complicated? Is that what you call abandoning your best friend when he needed you most? It's been 25 years, Greg. The years stacked behind him felt heavy, a weight of resentment and hurt. Greg shifted, his eyes dropping to the ground before he glanced back up. I'm not trying to make excuses. I messed up. I let my pride get in the way. Jake shook his head. Pride cost me everything. Do you have any idea what it's like to start over? There was a beat of silence, tension lingering between them. Jake could see a flicker of regret flash across Greg's face before he swallowed hard. I'm sorry for what happened. I am. But I want to be part of your life again. I want to know Lily. I miss you, man. Jake felt something shift inside him. It was a small ember of hope, but it was buried beneath years of bitterness. Could he really trust Greg again? Just as Jake began to process this overwhelming surge of emotion, laughter erupted nearby, bringing him back to the vivid reality of the celebration. What do you want from me? Jake challenged, crossing his arms. How do I know you won T-Bale again when things get tough? I won T. I swear. I've grown up a lot since then, believe it or not. Losing you was a wake-up call, Greg said, his voice steady, yet filled with vulnerability. There was a sincerity in his eyes that Jake hadn't seen before. I want to make things right for both of us. The sincerity tugged at a part of Jake's heart that had been locked away for years. He could feel his defenses beginning to waver. What does that even look like, Greg? You can't just show up and expect everything to be fine. No, of course not. I just want a chance to prove it. I want to learn about your life. About Lily. At the mention of his daughter's name, Jake felt a surge of protectiveness. She doesn't know about our past, and frankly I want to keep it that way for now. Greg nodded slowly, understanding the weight of Jake's words. But he could also see a flicker of vulnerability beginning to crack through Jake's walls. Just then, Lily appeared at the edge of their conversation, her innocent eyes darting between the two men. Dad? Is everything okay? Jake's breath caught in his throat. He glanced at Greg, who seemed lost for words. Jake realized he wasn't just confronting his past anymore. He was revisiting it in front of the one person he adored most. Yeah, sweetheart, Jake said, forcing a fatherly smile. Just some old business to settle. But as he said it, he wondered if he could really move past this, or if the storm was just getting started. Before he could dive deeper into his thoughts, Lily's expression shifted dramatically. Dad, can I tell you something? Jake's heart skipped a beat, and Greg shifted nervously at the sudden gravity of her words. What could she possibly have to say now that would change everything? What is it, honey? He asked cautiously, his protective instinct on high alert. It's about who I want to invite to my wedding. As the words hung in the air, Jake felt a sinking sensation grow within him, one that threatened to unravel everything he fought so hard to hold together. What would this moment mean for them all? Lily's words hung heavy in the air, a moment that felt like it could split the world in two. Jake's heart raced, a familiar mix of excitement and dread flooding over him. Your wedding, he echoed, not fully grasping what she was saying, and suddenly everything around them blurred. Laughter and music faded into an indistinct murmur. Yeah, she said, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. I've been thinking about it a lot. I want it to be special, and I really want to include all the people who matter to me. Her gaze shifted between Jake and Greg, a flicker of uncertainty crossing her features. You two used to be best friends. I think it would be nice if you both could be there. Jake glanced at Greg, whose jaw had tightened slightly. The weight of their shared history loomed larger than Lily's bright smile. Memories flashed through Jake's mind, good times, betrayals, laughter turned to silence. The thought of standing shoulder to shoulder with Greg at such a pivotal moment sent chills down his spine. Lily, maybe we should talk about this later, Jake said, his voice strained, a protective instinct kicking in. He didn't want her to see the cracks in the facade he had built around their relationship over the years. No, Dad, now feels like a good time, she pushed back, her expression resolute. Greg stepped in, his voice soft but firm. You're right, Lily. If there was ever a time for openness, it's now. He turned to Jake, vulnerability lining his features. I know I've made mistakes, but I want the chance for us to reconnect. For you. For her. Reconnect? Jake felt the heat rising in his chest again. What were you thinking? A cordial handshake? A reunion party? No, Greg said, shaking his head. I meant to be real. To forgive and move on. Life is too short for grudges. I have my own family now. I want to see you as part of mine. Lily's eyes darted from Jake back to Greg. She was caught in the crossfire of emotions, yearning for a peace she didn't fully understand. Please. I want us all to be okay together. There it was again, the flicker of hope Jake had felt earlier, wavering like a candle flickering in a strong wind. Could he really let Greg back into his life? What if this wasn't just a momentary lapse of anger, but the beginning of something anew? Just give me a reason to trust you, Greg. Jake's voice was low, barely rising above the ambient noise. What's in this for you? Greg's expression shifted, growing more earnest. I want to be the man you thought I was all those years ago. I can't change the past, but I can be someone you'll want around in the future. The words hung between them, thick with possibility and fear. Jake's heart raced with uncertainty. Was Greg truly sincere? Could time and distance mend what was broken long ago? As these thoughts swirled in his mind, he caught a glimpse of Lily's hopeful face, and something twisted inside him. Lily, he began, searching for the right words. I want what's best for you, but do you honestly think we can all just make that transition? She took a step closer, a gentle determination lighting her eyes. Dad, I believe we can. You shared so many good memories with Greg. It's time to make new ones. Together. Jake felt a lump form in his throat. What would it take to forge this new path? He glanced at Greg, who appeared more vulnerable than ever. Before he could respond, his phone buzzed, interrupting the moment. A message from his sister popped up. Jake. Urgent. Need to talk. Something inside him panicked. He couldn't just brush aside his daughter's plea or the pressing urgency of family. With a mix of curiosity and dread, Jake pulled up the message. What more could shake his world today? Hold on a second, he said, reading the message again. Time felt suspended as he turned to Lily and Greg. Emotions tangled like strings on a guitar. What had he gotten himself into? The love they all sought was just within reach if only they could untangle the past. But with one glance at the phone screen he knew. The real storm was just beginning. The tension in the air thickened as Jake's heart pounded, the weight of multiple revelations crashing down on him. He felt like he was standing on the edge of a precipice, teetering between the hope Lily offered and the fear that had been his constant companion for years. As he shifted his gaze to Greg, he noticed the flicker of uncertainty in his old friend's eyes. What does she need to talk about? Jake's voice was barely above a whisper, his mind racing with possibilities. He felt caught in limbo, a tenuous balance between a past filled with hurt and a future that may still hold some brightness. I don't know, Jake, Lily said, her voice small now, as if sensing the shift in the room. But she sounded serious before Jake could reply. Greg stepped closer, his demeanor shifting from tentative to resolute. Lily, if it's truly important to you, why don't we all sit down and talk? Let us not let this moment slip away. Jake sighed heavily, the conflicting emotions swirling within him. Could he really reach for forgiveness, take the leap of faith that Greg might actually mean what he said? But that nagging voice in his head kept whispering doubts, warning him that old wounds could easily reopen, unearthing the pain he thought he'd buried. With a steadying breath, Jake nodded slowly, trying to silence the chaos in his mind. All right. Let us hear what she has to say. As Jake opened the message thread from his sister again. The need to face the past coursed through him like a live wire. Greg must have sensed the shift too, glancing at him with an intensity that mirrored his own thoughts. They had been at odds for so long, and yet here they were, standing on the brink of something neither had anticipated. The music around them swelled, laughter and chatter rising and falling like waves, but all Jake could focus on was the tension between them, his fractured history with Greg, the love of a daughter longing for completion. Dad? Are you coming? Lily called out, breaking through his haze. Yeah, coming. Jake managed a weak smile, so different from the person he used to be, the lively friend, the supportive brother before everything got complicated. He rooted himself in the present, trying to silence the old insecurities that threatened to overwhelm him anew. They walked together toward a quieter corner of the crowded hall, Jake's heart racing with each step. You ready for this, Jake? He asked himself silently. As they found a small table away from the crowd, Jake took a seat alongside Lily, who had some vibrant energy about her, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing behind the scenes. Greg slid into the chair opposite them, and it felt like a battleground, each of them armed with words unspoken. "Jake," Lily started, her voice wavering but firm as she met his gaze. "I know today should be celebrated fully, but I need to explain why I texted you. Please just hear me out." "I'm listening," he replied cautiously. Taking a deep breath, Lily shifted in her chair. "I've had a lot on my mind lately. About family, futures. I don't want anything to hold you two back anymore. This wedding, it symbolizes new beginnings, right?" Greg chimed in. "Exactly. We're built to change, Jake. It's not about the past anymore. It's about how we move forward." The sincerity in their eyes ignited something deep inside Jake, a flicker of hope intertwined with fear. But just as he was about to respond, his phone buzzed again, this time with a call. He glanced at the screen. It was his sister. The urgency coiled in his stomach, twisted like a knot. "Jake, you need to answer that," Lily urged, concern brimming in her voice. "I can't," he hesitated, glancing back at Greg. "Not now. Not when we're finally trying to have this conversation." But Lily pressed her hand over his, a gesture of support that broke through his wall. "You can do both, Dad. Family is important. Dominate one side of the bridge while you build the other." The chaos inside him roared. But could he really prioritize the noise from the past? Or would he miss out on a chance to move forward with his family, to meet the depth of love they all craved? "Okay," he exhaled slowly, the weight of the world resting on his shoulders. Taking a moment, he reached for his phone, pressing answer. What awaited him on the other end could change everything once again. "Jake, it's me," his sister's voice crackled through the line, urgency cutting through the ambient noise around him. "I'm so glad you answered." He leaned away slightly, trying to find a balance between the call and the moment with Lily and Greg. "What's going on?" Anxiety crept up his neck as he caught the worried glances exchanged between his daughter and Greg. "Dad, it's about Mom." Her words stumbled over each other, and his breath hitched tight in his throat. Jake's heart raced, the memories flooding back, moments he had tried to lock away. "What about her?" he managed, barely keeping his voice steady. "I think you need to get here. It's important." "Important how?" he rushed, the tension in his stomach knotting tighter. The noise around him faded, leaving just the pounding of his heart and his sister's strained voice. "Just please, Jake. I can't explain it all over the phone." It only took a second for him to gauge the weight of the situation. The call wasn't casual. It wasn't just about old memories or family squabbles. It was something deeper. This was about the woman they both had spent years trying to forget, but could never seem to let go. "Okay, I'm on my way," he said, hanging up before emotions could overwhelm him. As he turned back to Lily and Greg, he felt the enormity of his choices crash down. "I have to go. It's about my mom." Lily's eyes widened, worry etching lines into her forehead. "Can we come with you?" "No, I think it's best if I go alone." The words felt heavy, thick with implications he didn't yet comprehend. The moment froze. Greg broke the silence, his voice steady and calm. "Jake, this is huge. Whatever you're feeling, don't run from it. Face it head on." Jake closed his eyes for a moment, processing. "I thought I had done that. I thought I buried it for good. But it seems buried deeper than I realized." Lily placed her hand on his arm, grounding him. "Dad, please. We can be here for you." For a brief moment, the world around them faded completely, and it was just the three of them in a silent pact. "Okay," he admitted, the weight of needing support breaking through his resolve. "Let us go together." As they stepped out into the cool evening air, the vibrant sounds of laughter and celebration were replaced by a stillness that hung in the air. Each footstep felt heavy with unspoken promises and fears. The car ride was filled with a mix of anticipation and dread, punctuated only by Lily's anxious tapping on her knees. When they finally arrived at the familiar family home, memories washed over him: sunny afternoons, laughter, warmth. He hesitated, breathing in deeply, feeling as though he were walking into a ghost of his past. "Are you ready?" Lily whispered. He nodded, though a part of him was screaming to retreat, to keep everything buried. Just as they reached the door, his phone buzzed again. Another message, this time from his sister, bringing a fresh wave of urgency. "Jake, get inside and prepare yourself. I didn't tell you everything?" His pulse quickened. What more was there to uncover? What secrets lay hidden, waiting for them, and how would it change everything they thought they understood about their family? With a final glance at Lily and Greg, he took a breath and stepped through the door, uncertainty trailing closely behind. What awaited him inside could shatter the fragile peace they had been trying to build. As Jake stepped through the door, his heart raced. The familiar creak of the old floorboards greeted him, but this time, it felt different, charged with an electricity that signaled change. The smell of worn leather and faintly burnt coffee hung in the air, a reminder of countless family gatherings, the good and the bad woven together like a patchwork quilt. Inside, his sister waited. Her expression was grave, eyes wide with urgency. "Jake, I need you to listen to me carefully," she said, her voice steady but edged with anxiety. "Mom, she has been diagnosed. It's serious." Jake's breath hitched in his throat. "What do you mean serious? What is happening?" The words tumbled from his lips, flooded with worry and confusion. He looked toward Lily and Greg, who stood just behind him, waiting for clarity. "She's not well physically, but her emotional state is fragile. She needs to see you, especially you." His sister's voice faded as she caught sight of Lily and Greg. "You brought them," she added, glancing between them. "Is that okay?" Jake nodded, trying to process the weight of the situation. He wanted to protect Lily from the reality of their mother, but could he really hide everything forever? With a resolute sigh, he stepped further into the house. It felt daunting and yet oddly familiar. Memories rushed in, fighting against the fear that wrapped around him. With each step toward the living room, he could feel the past and present colliding. They entered the living room, dimly lit and cluttered with old photographs and dusty knickknacks, remnants of a happier time. There, nestled in a faded armchair, sat his mother. She looked smaller than he remembered, frail and fragile, her face paled by illness. Yet her eyes, those were still bright, holding both love and sorrow in equal measure. "Jake," she whispered, her voice a shaky wisp as if drawing from a well that had run nearly dry. "Is that you?" "Yeah, Mom, it's me," he replied, his voice cracking. He stepped closer, feeling a lump rise in his throat, ready for the tidal wave of emotions to crash over him. "Jake," she said, voice trembling. "I've needed to talk to you for so long. I am sorry for so much. For all the silence, all the years lost." Her eyes glistened with tears that mirrored the turmoil in his heart. In that moment, the world beyond faded. The noise, the worries, and even the lingering uncertainty about Greg diminished, leaving only the two of them, mother and son, making their way back to each other, one word at a time. "I'm sorry too, Mom." His voice was earnest. "I've been seeking closure and healing, but I didn't know where to find it." Jake felt the walls he built for years start to crack, revealing the vulnerable heart beneath. "I should have reached out. We both should have. I was scared, holding back my own pain," she said, tears spilling down her lost-lined cheeks. They were both teetering on the brink of something profound, the possibility of forgiveness. Jake glanced back at Lily and Greg, who stood quietly, mere spectators to the rawness of their emotional exchange. His daughter's eyes glistened with unspoken understanding, and Greg's presence, once a reminder of betrayal, now felt different. He realized he wasn't just battling the ghosts of the past. They were all rewriting their futures together, melding their broken pieces into something new. "Mom, I want to make things right. I need you in my life. We have a chance to start over." As the words fell from his lips, hope ignited within him, slow and steady like the warmth of the sun breaking through winter clouds. She reached for his hand, fingers trembling against his rough palm. "We both have so much to mend, don't we? But it's never too late, is it?" Her voice quivered with uncertainty and the hope that burned even brighter. "No, it's not," Jake affirmed, his heart swelling with conviction. "We'll face this together. There is so much we can still share." As minutes unfolded into hours, family bonds deepened, revealing an openness Jake never thought possible. Each word exchanged felt like laying brick upon brick, rebuilding the family structure they once had, stronger than before. After what felt like an eternity, laughter finally flooded the room, breaking the tension like bright sunlight spilling across a dark stage. Lily cracked a joke about their favorite family meal, and even his mother chuckled, her laughter soft yet contagious. Yet the heaviest weight began to lift as they shared stories, filling the empty spaces in their hearts. Each moment sparkled with possibility, as if the past had woven a thread of resilience that would carry them forward. Days turned into weeks, and over that time Jake transformed. He made a conscious effort to become the father Lily needed, attending her every dance recital and keeping open communication with his mother. Greg stepped back into the picture gradually, joining family dinners and making amends with unwavering sincerity. Throughout, a bond slowly knitted together, each stitch an act of kindness, of love, of forgiveness. Lily's wedding day. The air was thick with a sense of completion. A celebration of love, the culmination of years of heartache transformed into joy. As Jake looked at her radiant smile, he realized they had built something beautiful out of the ashes of their past. His heart was full, and he was surrounded by love, the very thing he thought he'd lost. He had found his voice, his family, and most importantly, himself. As he prepared to toast the bride and groom, a wave of exhilaration washed over him, filling his soul with gratitude. He raised his glass, heart swelling with pride and hope, and recognized deep down that life was a tapestry of moments, some painful, some healing, but all worth living. This was just the beginning. Jake felt a surge of determination. It was the new chapter he had longed for, one that celebrated family, love, and second chances. And as the applause echoed around him, he knew he would do everything to ensure this moment never slipped away. Now you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and make a difference. Comment your reactions and feelings about this transformation, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful journey. Don't wait not even one more second to support and join this community. It matters.